All right, and we have a speaker who moves our hearts today. She is someone we're very familiar with, and a religious science minister, and a real blessing to us all, Reverend Joyce Zorger.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. We just keep dancing to that. Anyway, my talk today is on spiritual alchemy and the alchemy that I've been finding out so much about as transformation. And this month, October, is the theme is challenges. I should get behind here so they can see me on Zoom. Challenge. Hi there on Zoom. Challenges and transformation. And I'm bringing this with me. I wanted to show you this. I got this at a religious science retreat many years ago in Asilomar, and it has on the front transformation. And I love the word alchemy, and reminds me of when I was a little girl. One of my favorite books to read was about fairy tales and Rumpelstiltskin, and about making straw into gold. And and then I also love horse books too. I have so many horse books that I love. But I put this talk together because I thought challenges and transformation. I could call this talk challenges and transformation because my life these last few years has definitely been challenging, and also it's been transforming too, because I've been transforming my identity. I was a wife for almost 64 years, and I have to let go of that identity. I'm now a widow, and I am adjusting to that, and I'm adjusting to the area of Feather Ranch. It's not like it used to be, and I'm having to deal with the storms that we had last winter that devastated the property. If you drive out on High Mountain Road, all you have to do is look at the hills behind my home and see all the places where the slides came down. And anyway, I could have called this talk challenge and transformation, but I like spiritual alchemy because it really spoke to me, because I think of Mother Nature as that transformative alchemy, because it's always changing. And we, especially, they talk about climate change, but we've had climate change forever and ever here on this earthly plane. It's just the way. We used to have dinosaurs on this in this world, and things have changed and over the years. And but ask yourself, are you a spiritual alchemist? What does that mean? And what it means is alchemy is far more. It's far more than transforming metal into gold. It is a practice of inner transformation. I think of that spiritual alchemy. Alchemy is transformation, and that spiritual transformation that takes place as we learn to open our hearts and our minds to the gifts of spirit. And we are always being gifted by so much every day, in every way. I just wake up in the morning, and I love, Bill, you talked about ways of helping you to sleep. And I usually wake up about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I think I want to have some ways to get myself back to sleep. And I'm going to use that, Bill. I'm going to use that balloon idea. I like that. And what I do is I have a prayer that I use, a Ernest Holmes prayer, and I say, perfect God in me, perfect life in me, which is God, come forth into expression through me as that which I am. Lead me ever into paths of spiritual perfection, and cause me to see only the good and only the truth. And that helps transform me from being there worrying about what do I do next, what do I have to do when I wake up, and all the things that need to be done. And it certainly will help me if I put it on paper. But I have pads of paper all over my house. It's finding the right thing that I put on the pad. I have to have just one pad, and knowing where that is. And I just, life, transformation, the aging process is a transformation process, as many of us know, because we're up there. And Marvin, your birthday is in the month of October, and you're probably in that 9th decade, I'm guessing. And so I'm following close behind. I'm sorry? Something like that. He won't admit to it. Well, we're happy to have you still here. And there's so many wonderful people that are here that are experiencing this aging process that is really transformative and that it's not the way it used to be. I mean, you are just knowing how to care for yourself in the perfect right way and just moving through knowing how to eat right. I did a number on myself. I had TMJ for I'm trying to get over this. Every time I open my mouth, I hear this cracking noise. I don't think you hear it on Zoom, but what happened was I was in a addictive mode. I was eating gummy bears and gummy worms, and I ran out of gummy bears, and I thought, well, I'll go on Amazon and I'll order some because everything you can buy anything on Amazon. So I went on there and I ordered a bag of gummy worms, and it was a 5-pound bag of gummy worms. I think I might have brought some here to share, but 5 pounds of gummy worms, I mean, that's what did it to my jaw, and I'm trying to. I don't ever show me a gummy. I love that. It's good for stress. You chew that. Last week, I am just amazed at the speakers that we have here, and I feel like I'm standing on the shoulders of these wonderful speakers. And last week we were to have Timber Hawkeye, and he wasn't able to be here. And Mark Welsh took over and did a fabulous job and very emotional connection. And then wonderful Richard Inman, he did a workshop that was pretty extemporaneous and on finding your voice and your music. And it was just, I found my voice. I am a G. My level of voice is a G, and I'll never forget that. So now I know that I can sing as long as I'm in that G range, right? Anyway, I'm getting totally off as I do. This is high for me. Maybe can I just push it down? Okay. There, yay, okay. And toolbox, I love your toolbox, your talk that you did a couple of weeks ago. If you don't, you can always review or get onto YouTube and hear the talks that are given here. They're just fabulous talks. Don't listen to mine because I don't know where I'm going with this, but I feel it's the weather. It's October, and October is is just a month of. The other day I was coming back from feeding the horses and the cats and getting ready to feed my dogs, and I was looking at these golden, it looked like snowflakes coming down from the trees, and they were the white oaks that were losing their trees and their golden leaves, and I just felt so blessed, to be able to soak in what nature, the gifts that nature offers us. It's just such a beauty. So this time of year, I even like the poison oak this time of year because it turns brilliant red, and that's the worst time. It's highly poisonous at that time, so don't get close to it. Fortunately, I'm not allergic to it. My son-in-law is, and so he came one time during the fall, and he just was covered with poison oak. Okay, so where am I here? What I have learned about spiritual alchemy, it's the ancient art of alchemy was the search for spirit in matter. In modern life, it is a way of deepening our relationship with the sacred dimension of life. That's for me, that's what the word alchemy is. Alchemy's greatest achievement. I like this. I wrote a lot of this down because what I did is I went on Google, and whenever I'm not sure about something, I go there, and I'm sure you do too. We are so blessed with so much information today. So I got a lot of my information about spiritual alchemy on Google. So if you don't like my talk, if you're confused, if I go off in different directions, go to Google and you'll hear, you'll be able to read a lot of what I put down. So I'm going to read some of this. And so please bear with me. It says, while physical alchemy deals with altering and transforming the properties in the physical world, and get this, spiritual alchemy is connected with freeing our spiritual selves from our fears, limiting belief systems, and lack of self-acceptance. Freeing ourselves from our fear, our limiting belief systems, and our lack of self-acceptance. And I think I shared one time about, I had a mother that was very strong. She lost her firstborn child when he was hit by a car when he was just 7 years old. I never knew Richard, but he was I always thought of him, he was in heaven protecting me from my other brother, who was always such a tease. So, but my mom was, she said it like she was New York, Staten Island, that's where she was born. And she had that New York sense of, sock it to you, girl, And I just remember I was thought I was really doing well with my piano playing, and I was 10 or 11 years old, and I wanted to play in they were having a talent show at the local civic center in Block or Sioux where I lived. And I wanted to play The Wedding of the Painted Doll. And I told my mom I was going to sign up for this talent show. And, and my mom looked at me, she says, "Don't do that, you'll make a fool of yourself." so, so that, if I have any issues with being able to sing at the key of G, I had to be strong growing up with my mother, and knowing she loved me, but also knowing that I never knew when she was going to give me a jewel of wisdom. But I know we love our loved ones, and anyway, okay, so I'm going on. I'm going to watch the time here because I tend to. Where's the clock? Oh, it is there. I can't see it. I got my watch. Okay, I'm back to where I need to be. Many of us have been taught about achieving a state of enlightenment in our yoga practice, and I've told many of you over the years. If someone's here today, Janice, you've taught yoga for how long? Have you taught? And you're still teaching yoga. And I think that's such a wonderful practice. And I think I shared with you before that I took yoga in 1985, and I've been doing it ever since, every morning for a half an hour. And that just on the weekend, Monday through Friday, and Saturday, Sunday, I give myself a break. I don't do it. It's a freed up time, but more time spent with my spiritual practice. But that it's a wonderful, that stretching. It's nothing too elaborate, but it's just stretching that really helps the body to be flexible. When I'm putting on my shoes, I don't want my back to go out. You got to brand, you got to stretch, you've got to be physical. Okay, so back to my talk. Okay, I wrote down, existing in a state of enlightenment or soulful awareness is the ultimate state of transformation. Existing in a state of enlightenment or soulful awareness is the ultimate state of transformation, the gold of spiritual alchemy, the gold of spiritual alchemy. They had 7 stages. They talked about the calcination, which I didn't know what that word was, but it means breaking down our egos, self-doubt, self-sabotaging behavior, and pride so that we may reconnect to our natural state of being. And that's calcination. That was the definition of that. There are 7 stages. The second stage is dissolution, taking a step back and observing ourselves, both positive and negative qualities, and not allowing ourselves to base our sense of being on either. And so, my mom taught me that even though she had some zingers that she gave me, I knew she loved me. And, we get over any little hurts that we may have felt when we were kids and with people that we know. And sometimes you don't know what kind of day they're having, and just overlook some remark that you might hear that kind of makes you feel less than. Number 3 was separation, separating our authentic thoughts and emotions from thoughts and emotions we have conditioned to think, that we have been conditioned to think and feel. This allows us to see ourselves more clearly and delve deeper into our shadow work. Our shadow work, we're always doing that. We're always thinking about things and how we react to things, and why we're reacting to things that way. That to me is part of that shadow work. Number 4 was conjunction, allowing for our unconscious thoughts to come to the surface so that we may observe them with conscious awareness. And that the unconscious thoughts, I've been feeling, struggling with things that all of a sudden I'm feeling, where's my joy? Where's my, what is, why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling down? And I'm thinking, okay, so what were my thoughts before I started feeling this way? When I do that, then it helps me to understand that those are the thoughts that are creating the feeling within me, and I can release those thoughts and move on to something and use maybe an affirmation that helps buoy up my feeling of self. And number 5 was fermentation. This is the first stage in the process of rebirth. It is both the death of our old thoughts, patterns, and beliefs, and the beginning stages of the birth of our highest self through inner peace, stillness, and introspection. Fermentation, it sounds so scientific. Again, I'll read it. This is the first stage in the process of rebirth. It is both the death of our old thoughts, patterns, and beliefs, and the beginning stages of the birth of our highest self through inner peace, stillness, and introspection. Inner peace is such an important place to get. And I had something that I wrote down that I just love about peace. And I have to, it says here, this is something that I want to be able to know and memorize and have it be in my thoughts when I'm feeling this way. When everything falls into place, this is what the ego says. When everything falls into place, you will have peace. The ego says this. You have to wait until everything falls into place, and then you will have peace. But the spirit says, find your peace, then everything will fall into place. And that, to me, is a real powerful statement. So this morning, I not just this morning, but other mornings, and I have my dogs in the house, and they interrupt my thoughts and my peace at times, and they want to sit in my lap, and they're huge. One is 80 pounds and one is 45 pounds, and they can't sit in my lap, and so they're interrupting my peaceful time in the morning. So I have to know that that my time is important too. I give my dogs lots of love and attention. As you know, they're 6 years old. They've been a focal point in my life all these years, and I'm still thinking about whether I should have a birthday party for them in December. But anyway, I'm not sure if I may or may not do this, but anyway, I see how brave I feel. So, but let me repeat this again. Ego says when everything falls into place, you will have peace. And you can't wait till everything falls into place. How many times, you put yourself thinking, well, I just can't get into that place. But you got to listen to spirit within and find your peace, and then everything will fall into place. Find your peace. How do you find your peace? By being still. It's so hard for me to be still. I want to tell you, I'm Aries personality. I am always on the go. I've always been that way. I need to focus on sit, stay, pray, and then everything will be okay. I say this to my dogs. I don't use the word pray, but sit, stay, and then myself, pray, and then everything will be okay. And the latest one I use is for my dogs, because they're getting these weird things that they find, dead gophers and all of the stuff that they find that they think are delicious. And I tell them, I say, drop it. And that they have to listen, this word, drop it. They have to drop what they have in their mouth and then leave it. And so I am saying to myself, drop it and leave it when I get these negative thoughts that destroy my peace of mind. So drop it and leave it. Keep that in your mind too. I'll share that with you as a spiritual alchemy for today. So I have 2 more stages of spiritual alchemy. One is distillation. All these are very scientific terms, but it means a deeper level of purification and asks us to look for inner peace in the mundane of our daily lives. This stage is also known as the state of enlightenment. Mundane. I didn't like that word mundane because to me it sounds boring, and I don't like to be bored. So maybe I could change that word somehow. But I guess I need more mundane. I need more boring in my life, maybe, because sometimes that will help me sit, stay, pray, and then all will be okay. So, and the last stage is coagulation. In this state, the universe is no longer separate from the inner mind or spiritual reality, but rather a reflection of it, What we think, we create. When I read this on Google, I thought, God, this is science of mind. This is unity. This is all very, what you think, you create. And it's something that you might want to look up spiritual alchemy and do that for yourselves. In case you didn't get anything out of what I'm talking about today, look it up on Google and find it out for yourself. So I'm almost done here. A few days ago while returning, I think I shared with you about how I felt about when I was returning from the barn, and I was feeling kind of down. I'm thinking, oh, I got all this stuff to do. And then I looked up and saw this flickering in the sky. It was like golden snowflakes. And so I took that in. I thought, thank you, God. Thank you, Spirit. This was something I needed to remind me that of the beauty of nature everywhere. And to remind me that alchemy is indeed transformation. Nature continually transforms itself as it moves in and out of the seasons. And what a beautiful season, the fall season. It's so much change. You feel the the coldness this morning, yesterday, the rain that I had out where I live. I'm sure some of you had it where you live too. So, and then it's going to be hot again. It doesn't know quite what it wants to do. So just as we, being a part of nature, we transform as we move through the seasons of our lives. We're moving through the seasons, just as nature moves through the seasons. We're moving through those seasons of our lives. I love what John Muir has to say, and some of you may have remembered this too. It's that nature's peace will flow into you as the sun shines into the trees. The winds will blow their freshness into you, and the storms their energy, while cares will drop off like the autumn leaves. And so that's when I saw that with the leaves falling, I said, yeah, this is fall. It's this time of year. It has such beauty. And then I came across this poem by John Muir, who is just such a nature lover. And this is perfect to add here. So the energies of life always expressing how blessed we are when we take the time to pay attention. The energies of life are always expressing if we take the time to pay attention. That's such a gift. We need to pay attention to all that, the beauty that's around us. Everything is imbued with spirit, and knowing this, I'm so grateful. In closing, I'm going to say, to know with me as we welcome eternal, unseen energies supporting us in all life everywhere. So know with me as we know that we welcome eternal, unseen energies supporting us in all life everywhere. Unseen energies. We are in this room. Each one of you are an unseen energy emanating your bodies, yourself. You have that specific energy of being who you are. That is that spirit within you that is ever expressing. And when you acknowledge each other with a sense of joy and welcomeness and openness, you connect with that energy. It's such a beautiful thing, especially here in this very room. I love that song, In This Very Room. And I don't remember who in this very room. I can't remember all the words to that. There's quite enough love to go around. In this very room, there's quite enough love to go around. I remember that from, I think you've sang that before. Maybe the next time I'm speaking, you'll sing that song. I love your music, all the songs that you sing. Okay, so I like this. I wrote this down, and it reminds me, when we allow ourselves to be broken open by life rather than broken down by it, we begin to be grateful for the difficulties themselves. Those difficulties then become our greatest teachers. So if all of these years, and John going through the Alzheimer's and having to care for him for so many years, and the challenge of that, and just the challenge of moving through the everydayness of life. We all have challenges. None of us get out of this world without having challenges that we deal with. And those challenges are our teachers and make us stronger. And so life's journey is a regular, recurring succession of changes containing many lessons. Relight the divine spark residing within. It's up to you, it's up to me, it's up to each one of us. And so that is my message this morning. God bless you, each one of you. And I love you, hold you in my heart. Thank you. Thank you.